So for decades, right, Airbus and Boeing have been competing neck and neck to gain market share in aircraft manufacturing, and there are only two big ones really, so making it a duopoly in the industry. The race to the top has always been fuel efficiency. The better the engines in fuel optimization, the lower the cost for airlines, and lower cost leads to cheaper fares, and cheaper fares means more passengers, more revenue, etc. And right now, the LEAP engines that both Boeing and Airbus are using are 15% more efficient compared to its predecessors. And now the race is on to create an even better engine. Stay tuned. Right now, Airbus has decided to scrap the Airbus E380 Super Jumbo Jet, and after the pandemic, Boeing has also decided to scrap the Queen of the Skies, the Boeing 747. Over here, you can see a shift in market demand. Airlines are now looking to carry fewer passengers but having fuel-efficient aircraft that can fly long distance. The case in point is the Boeing 737 MAX and the Airbus A321 XLR. The current LEAP engines now are more quieter and bigger. The reason why these modern engines are bigger is to have a higher bypass ratio. Large masses of air being pushed back will enable the engines to generate higher thrust, making it more efficient. The only problem with a big engine is the weight. The bigger it is, the heavier the aircraft will be. And with this in mind, CFM International decided to create a whole new engine together called CFM RISE, which stands for Revolutionary Innovation for Sustainable Engines. If you look at the latest designs, it is similar to a turboprop. However, there are differences to this latest engine and a turboprop, which I will explain later on. In the 1980s, Pratt and Whitney has developed the Allison 578DX, and also there is the General Electric GE36. These were previous designs for NASA, and the engine blades were counter-rotating ones. The angles of the blades could also be changed to increase the efficiency. The reason why both of these engines were developed was because one of them will be chosen to power the Boeing 7J7. The Boeing 7J7 was mainly for customers who wanted to upgrade their Boeing 727 to a larger aircraft. The Boeing 7J7 was initially planned to enter service in 1992, but it was scrapped because the price of oil dropped in the 1980s. The engines too was one of the reasons for the project to be scrapped. The design of the engine was too complex, and once the engines are running, there was a tremendous amount of noise. The noise is even louder than the Boeing 727 and MD-18 low bypass ratio engines. However, the huge takeaway from the research being done is that open fan engines are incredibly efficient. This is where Safran, a company that manufactures aircraft and rocket engines, come to the rescue. In 2017, Safran managed to create and design an engine that is much quieter, similar to the current LEAP engines. General Electric then improved on it by creating only one single rotating fan and one set of non-moving stator vanes. With this latest design, they are able to increase the bypass ratio. A normal turbofan engine bypass ratio is 12:1. With CFM RISE engines, the bypass ratio can now be increased to 20:1. Now the next question is, when will the engines be ready? CFM International, they projected that they will be able to have the engines ready for testing by 2025. Now the main challenge for the manufacturers is to get the engines to produce thrust that can allow the plane to fly up to Mach 0.8. Sure, they can increase the length of the blade for higher bypass ratio, but that would also incur more drag to the aircraft. The next thing will be the location of the engine. The previous location for the Boeing 7J7 was at the back of the fin. Another option is to put it under the wing like the ATR-72. Side note is that the current turboprop engines can enable the aircraft to travel at Mach 0.55. So putting the engines under the wings could pose a problem. A blade that is snapped out from a turbofan engine is normally contained inside the nacelle. Do check out this video here when the engine exploded and parts of the engines led to a decompression. Manufacturers would then have to put reinforcement on the sides of the plane in case a blade out incident happened. This will then increase the weight of the aircraft. Once CFM is able to create an engine that is able to be quieter and is able to travel faster, then we will see more and more planes using open fan technology. Thank you very much for watching. Do comment and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.